70s by lunchtime, and then we're looking at low 80s by the afternoon. Sunshine sticks around for the remainder of the week, and only a small chance of rain is back as we round out the week and move into your holiday weekend. I'll have the latest in your full forecast.
Well, tonight in our CBS 42 series, Birmingham Forward, a look at the future of sports and entertainment in the Magic City.
That's right. Industry insiders tell me never before in Birmingham's history has the city been really ready and willing to host big sporting events and entertainment acts. And Sherry, in terms of the city finally becoming a major sports town, tonight we're asking, what about Birmingham?
Whether it's King James or Queen Bee, if you're courting the megastars to the Magic City, you better come with the two F's, fans and facilities.
We've never had an alignment of the facilities that we currently have, with Protective Stadium, a renovated BJCC, Crossplex, the Barber Motorsports Park, the Hoover Met, Regions Field. When you look in the aggregate of all of those facilities, it bodes very well for our future.
As a leader in the sports event management industry, Gene Hallman has brought big-name events to the Birmingham area for years. He believes the newly renovated BJCC and the new Protective Stadium will usher in even bigger events for the city.
In terms of what the future could hold, it's still being discovered.
Hallman knows when the topic is brought up amongst local sports fans, one question is bound to come up.
The question becomes, what about Birmingham? Because when you look at Memphis and Nashville especially, those are similar sized markets, Jacksonville, and the question then begs itself, why not Birmingham?
Greater Birmingham, home to 1.2 million people, is one of the largest markets in the country without a professional sports franchise at the major league level. With that being said, when the question is asked to Alabama native Charles Barkley, one of the state's most famous and successful sports stars, the answer is blunt and to the point.
Alabama's not going to get a pro team.
No.
Zero chance of that.
No.
Zero. Ever.
Would you,
no.
Barkley may be right. Hallman says Birmingham isn't even on the list for possible NBA expansion teams. But perhaps the path to Major League sports may not be the long talked about way, through the Squadron, the Stallions, the Barons, or even the Bulls.
I think right now, there are no prospects for the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, or the National Hockey League. Major League Soccer, who knows? They've grown so quickly.
It's a thought that's crossed the mind of Jay Heaps, president and GM of Birmingham Legion FC. Heaps says more kids growing up in Alabama playing soccer, and changes to demographics in the population are growing the Legion's fan base every year.
That is, for me, the biggest hurdle that we face is continuing to have fans, show up every day and show up every game that we have at home. And when we have a big crowd, when we play Lane United or the playoffs, we see over 10,000 fans at a game. We want to see that week in and week out.
Heaps says other cities like Cincinnati started small with 5,000 to 6,000 fans in the stands at games, eventually growing to a consistent 15,000 fans, something he thinks could happen in Birmingham.
But I do think there's going to be another round of expansion in the next 4 or 5 years.
While the Legion continues to score goals at Protective, Hallman, along with city and county leaders, have goals of their own. Not so much in sports teams, but sporting events. Fresh off hosting the World Games, the NCAA men's basketball tournament, and continuing to bring annual traditions like IndyCar in May, the SEC baseball tournament, and the biggest HBCU football game in the country every fall, Hallman says the focus on upping the ante to maybe hosting the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 during March Madness.
The BJCC's been upgraded beautifully. It certainly can accommodate it, and now I just think it's a matter of lobbying and making the case for it.
Moving forward, the newly announced plans for a $50 million, 9,000-seat amphitheater at the site of the demolished former Caraway Hospital. City leaders say that, coupled with Protective and legacy, shows how far Birmingham has come in the past 5 years.
If we can keep that momentum going, I am very confident that we eventually can have those A++ performers in the Magic City.
And while the likes of Taylor Swift and Beyonce skipped Birmingham in their latest tours, some say the fact that Garth Brooks played Protective last summer shows it can be done.
Any touring entertainer can find a perfect venue here in Birmingham, Alabama. And we've never had that before. And it creates what they say is an A tour.
To make things happen for Birmingham, Hallman knows all too well, you have to think big and look to the future.
But I keep going back in time to Charlotte and Nashville and Jacksonville. They never 30, 40 years ago envisioned that they would be a major league city, and then look at them now.
All right, so what's next? Well, Birmingham has already been chosen to host the Division I Women's Basketball Southern Regional in 2025. Also that same year, the World Police and Fire Games will take place here in Birmingham. 10,000 first responders will be competing in 1,600 medal events. And again, tomorrow night, Protective Stadium will play host to the Birmingham Legion as they take on an MLS team, the team from Charlotte in the tournament. It is expected to draw big crowds, the kind of crowds that major league decision makers will be sure to notice. So what entertainment acts or venues do you want to see come to the Magic City? Make sure you reach out to us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Use the hashtag BHAMForward. Tonight, join the conversation, Sherry.
After last